Okay, this video we're going to look at the market research element of the marketing process, or the marketing plan, as I said in the last video, which was focusing on the situation analysis. So that first step in the overall marketing plan, which was comprised of the SWOT analysis and product lifecycle. So once this situation analysis has been conducted, the next step for a business is to look at or to undertake some market research. And as it says there on your screen, market research is the systematic collection and analysis of information about the competitive environment, including data on consumer behaviour, the nature of competition, and other factors that would impact on the firm's success. So marketers need to know details about the market and customers when devising a marketing plan. This information can be gathered via this market research. So it's no point following on from the situation analysis, having done your SWOT analysis, having identified what stage the product is in terms of the life cycle, if the business does not then go ahead and undertake effective market research, because that market research is going to help to identify key information about the broader market that's out there. So for example, when Qantas was looking to start a low-cost domestic and international carrier that would sit alongside Qantas, they would have undertaken extensive market research. Is there actually a market out there for this? What sort of price points are customers willing to pay for a low-cost domestic flight, for example, from Sydney to Melbourne? Who are our competition, or who are our major competitors? And what other factors should we consider if we do undertake this particular strategy? And of course they did. They came up with Jetstar. They targeted quite a different market, but a major part of the launch of Jetstar, and before the launch of Jetstar, Qantas would have undertaken significant market research to gauge the particular market they were looking for and to get an idea of the potential success that brand could have in the future. So, and marketing executives are looking at, also additionally, they're looking at how many customers would buy this product. Like I was just saying with Qantas and Jetstar, how many people are actually going to potentially fly? You know, if you've got, Qantas has got about 80% of the corporate market. There's a significant other market out there to access in terms of domestic flights in Australia. But how many people could we expect that might choose to fly Jetstar? And that sort of information can be gathered from market research. Also, what are the key characteristics of those customers? What are their income levels? Where do they live? How might they actually use this product? Is it for family holidays? Is it for one-off domestic flights? Is it potentially for a business that can't afford the price of a current Qantas ticket? Or are those people being satisfied by Virgin, Tiger Air, and any smaller domestic carriers in the market like Rex? That sort of information is what Qantas would have gleaned from their market research. It's probably goes without saying really that research is vital, because up-to-date and reliable information is needed at all times. And even when the marketing plan is completed, an organisation would still be collecting market research to make sure they're staying on top of their market. And the major reasons they need this information, this market research, is to analyse the market opportunities, to plan their marketing activities, to implement those plans, like I was saying before, and then control those marketing resources. So market research is used both as a planning tool, an implementation tool, and then also a reflection tool in terms of how well is this going. Well, our market research is telling us that things are shifting in this particular market, for example, and therefore we need to amend our marketing strategy. Okay, data collection in terms of market research can be done two ways, either from a primary data perspective or a secondary data perspective. What are the differences between those two? Firstly, primary data is generating new data through the business's own primary research. That's why it's called primary research, primary data, because it's their primary research. How would you collect that? A number of different ways. It can be collected through observations, so just looking at people's reactions to advertisements, for example. That might be through a focus group, gathering people around in a room, showing them some advertisements and seeing what their reactions are. Focus groups, similar type of thing. Selecting people who match certain target markets, certain demographics, asking them a series of questions, trying to gauge their interest in this particular product. Experimental, cause and effect testing response, testing customer responses, testing different things. For example, alternative movie endings. You know, how would you rate this ending versus this another ending? And finally, market primary research. The business might go out and collect surveys. So question people on the street, send them surveys, email them surveys, call them up through market research. They are all examples of primary data. The main thing to understand about primary data is that the business is collecting itself for its own use. Whereas in contrast, secondary data is information that they can access that has been gathered, that is already there, or that has been gathered by another party. So the Australian Bureau of Statistics, for example, is a very common secondary data source, particularly data that comes out of the census data. So every 4 years, census data is collected, and that's a prime example of secondary data. But some other examples would be some internal data. So, for example, accounting figures and ratios, marketing, sales reports that might be from another part of the business that could be utilised by a different division, and external sources through the media, through specific research firms who specialise in gathering data and then sell it to businesses, and then in the Australian Bureau of Statistics, like I said earlier. Additionally, you might go to a trade professional or business association. So that, for example, the Business Council of Australia might have information that could be relevant to your business. Once that data is collected, it's imperative that it is analysed and interpreted. There's no point collecting that data if some inferences aren't made from that particular information. And then that needs to be reported to management for decisions that need to be made. Okay, and that's it for market research. In the next video, we'll focus on establishing market objectives.